want some sauce?
Scene 1, Apple, take 1.
So if we are going to be making a nice breading for things like zucchini or for especially chicken tenders, and you want to get that chicken McNugget flavor, we're going to have to make the breading just right. I've got some rosemary from the garden right here, because in chicken McNuggets, rosemary extract is a big one of the flavors that go inside the chicken McNuggets. In a plastic bag here, Ziploc bag, this is 1/8 of a cup. Half a cup. This right here is potato starch, but you can use cornstarch. Okay, I'm only using potato because I don't really keep too much cornstarch around anymore. 1/8 of a cup, 1/4 of a cup. Okay. Now this is going to seem a little strange what I have here, but this is masa, okay, which is it's corn flour. Okay, and we're going to put 1/8 of a cup in here, including the stuff that fell off. This is kosher salt that I'm going to be putting in, and I've got about a teaspoon of this. We have ground black pepper, and we're going to put about a teaspoon. This right here is garlic powder, and I'm going to be putting in about a half a teaspoon, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon. This is onion powder, same thing, about a teaspoon. This is dried parsley flakes, a couple teaspoons. This right here is some dried thyme, and I'm going to be putting in about 3/4 of a teaspoon. I'm going to be putting a little bit of coriander, crushed coriander in here, and I'm going to put about maybe half of a teaspoon. Right here I've got a mortar and pestle, and one of my favorite ingredients is fennel seed. And I've got some mustard seed. I'm going to be putting about half a teaspoon. If you wanted to, you could use ground mustard. You don't have to use mustard seed. I'm just doing that because grind up the fennel too, the fennel seed, so I might as well just grind up the mustard seed at the same time. Here's some fresh rosemary from the garden, and I am going to take this and just kind of, we're going to put that inside here too. And all of this goes inside here. A little bit of paprika. I'm going to be putting about a teaspoon and a half. And I've got a little bit of crushed red pepper. I'm going to crush up a little bit more. Some other things that you can consider putting inside here would be things like marjoram or oregano or basil or ground ginger. I'll take an egg. And you can put buttermilk, you can put half and half. This is heavy cream. And we want a batter that is similar to the consistency of maybe something like a very thick pancake batter. Okay, so now what I've done is I've added a little bit of water to this in order to make it the consistency that I need it. Okay, and I'm just squishing up any small little pieces inside here. You could put this in a bowl, but why dirty a bowl, right? And now we can put this in the refrigerator. During the time that this is setting and in the refrigerator, that flour is going to absorb more of that moisture, so it's going to thicken a little bit. But this is going to be ready for us to put all of our things that we want to bread inside of it. Right now I'm just kind of squishing up any flour, any corn, any type of starch that hasn't been separated, instead of just like little bits and pieces that have some flavor. It's going to be a little bit more consistent throughout the entire batter. Okay, now we have a washed zucchini here, and zucchinis have a lot of water in them, so we don't want these to be too big of pieces. You can get away with doing that, but you kind of have to fry things different. You got to prep everything different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting at a slight bias like this, and I'm going to try to keep every piece about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and you can even increase the bias if you want, so that way it's like you get a larger piece. If you make these too large, they'll only stay crispy for just a little while, and then all that moisture, that steam from you cooking these, is going to end up making the breading soggy. Okay. And earlier I had taken a chicken breast and I had just cut it up into some small pieces. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all of this stuff and throw it in here. Okay. And we can do the zucchini first, or we can do the chicken first. If you have a big enough bag, you can do it all at the same time. Not a big deal. Okay. But we definitely want everything here to get coated. Now what we could do is, after this gets coated, we could just put some flour here with a little salt and pepper. Take this, dip it in there, then fry it. Okay, that'll give you a nice breading. Won't be too thick or anything like that, and you'll have the flavors. But what we're going to do is we're going to be taking some panko breadcrumbs. Okay, you can usually find these in either the Asian department at the store, like the International Foods, or you can find it at the Asian market, like I did. And this is what we're going to end up dipping everything in after we end up having it basically set inside this batter. This batter smells really good. Okay, and I'm just going to throw these inside the fryer. It's usually a good idea to kind of flip them. But these are almost done. Drain the extra oil off. As soon as they come out, that's when you want to put salt on them, or any other seasoning you're planning on doing. These smell so good right now. And just like French fries, you know, you can double fry these, okay, if you want them to be extra crispy. Because keep in mind that the zucchini does have a lot of water in it, and so when you start heating it up, it's going to start steaming, and if it starts steaming, it's going to end up making the breading mushy. Okay, so what you do is you just end up throwing it back in the fryer, and it only takes about less than a minute, and it'll crisp it up and it'll get rid of that extra moisture. Okay, so we can go ahead and start putting our chicken inside here. Everything has been breaded the exact same way, but we have to make sure that we are not crowding the pan. There's a fairly large one. I'm probably just going to put that in by itself. I'm really tempted to make a fried tomato. If you throw your battered food in here, and immediately, it doesn't take long for the outside to start turning really dark, means the fire's too high. And the temperature of this oil had gotten a little too hot over the period that I've been frying this, so I had to turn it down just a little bit right now. Because it's starting to get brown spots like that, and that's not really what we're looking for. Golden brown, not brown pieces. Alright, so we got our chicken strips or chicken fingers, whatever you want to call them, and I had tried a little bit and it's incredible. It is super crispy, and I have some homemade ranch dressing that I had made for dipping sauce. You can watch my other videos on how to make homemade ranch. When you're making things like homemade ranch, you really got to do it in advance so it can sit for a while and the flavors can kind of infuse. Because if you make it fresh, it's kind of it resembles ranch. There you go, guys. We got our chicken strips, we got our fried zucchini, got some homemade ranch. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is the perfect thing to make, like if you're planning on having a party or something. People have finger foods. It's good finger foods. It's cheap. This is just one chicken breast. That's it. On this side is just one breast. This is just one zucchini. And then this right here, this is enough for 4 people if you're having a little get-together or something. I mean, granted, it's not a dinner. You know, this is a appetizer. But this is fantastic, and the crunch on it is incredible. Anyway, guys, that is that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you click like, make sure you hit subscribe. Also check out my other recipes on drchillskitchen.com. That is www.drchillskitchen.com. And until next time, talk to you later.